This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that you'll consider this your vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And if you would please leave a rating and a brief written review, it will enable others to find this podcast. And I'm also looking to coach and train the next level leaders. If you'd like to book your free call, go to drronblake.com/call, drronblake/call. Let's discuss how you and I could work together and launch your dream and help you get unstuck. Again, that's drronblake.com/call. Today, I want to talk about 3 things that will make a difference. 3 things really that I wish someone would have told me years ago, that these 3 things, if you do them, will make all of the difference in the world, not only in your leadership, but really in your life. And they may not be 3 things that you would automatically identify as being important to leadership. But if you can only work on a few things, which is all really most of us can do, in your life, whether you're attempting to lead yourself, an organization, a not-for-profit, a church, it makes no difference. Trying to lead your family, whatever it is, try these 3 things, and I believe you will notice an incredible difference. Are you ready for the 3? The first is start being a servant. I know that it was Robert Greenleaf who wrote the book Servant Leadership, and it's been talked about much. But if you want to make it, if you want to make a difference, don't think about how many people can I get to serve me, and who can I boss around, and who can I be the leader of, or what organization can I lead, but rather yet say, who can I serve? Who can I serve? Who is that person that I should be of service to? If you think of some of the greatest leaders in the last century, they aren't necessarily people who had political power or economic power or even the power of the marketplace. Let me just name 3 off the top of my head. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi. They are considered by everyone to be leaders. They made a difference in their world, and yet they were not there because of someone elected them into a position. And every one of them, service is at the heart of what they do. I have a quote from Tom Peters that I want you to hear today. Organizations exist to serve, period. Let me say it again. Organizations exist to serve, period. You are not where you are today, leader, so that others may have the opportunity to serve you. You are there to serve others. He goes on to say in that same quote, leaders live to serve, period. Leaders live to serve, period. Hear the whole thing in one sentence. Organizations exist to serve, period. Leaders live to serve, period. That is from Tom Peters. Now, if this was just solely a church broadcast, there are so many examples throughout history, but especially the Bible. It was Jesus who said, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. It was Jesus, the Savior of the world, who on the last night of his earthly ministry took on the mode of a servant and washed his disciples' feet, a task usually, normally, absolutely given to the lowliest and the servants. And this Jesus did for his disciples. If you want to make a difference in your life, if you want your leadership to count, be a servant. As a matter of fact, a leader is best when people barely know they exist. When your work is done as a leader and your aim is fulfilled, what you believe you are there for, it'll be great if the people in your organization will say, "We did it ourselves." Leaders aren't to draw attention to themselves. Servants never do. It's not that you're just to walk out ahead of them and tell them to follow you. There certainly is an aspect to that in leadership. But if you're going to be a servant, walk beside them. Servant leadership will propel your organizations in ways that nothing else can. Servanthood. Why don't you just sort of ponder that this week? How can I better serve my organization? Not how can the organization serve me? How can I get what I want? How can I get my needs fulfilled? But rather reflect on how can I serve my spouse, my children, my neighbors? How can I serve my coworkers? How can I serve the people at church or in the community organization that I'm a part of? Three things that will make a difference. Three things I could have also entitled this, that three things I wish someone would have told me 30 years ago. But the number one to be an effective leader is make up your mind you are going to be a servant. The second of the three things that will make a difference is build relationships. Building an organization is what most leaders believe they are called to do when they take on a particular title. But wherever you practice your leadership today, my friend, the most important thing to do is to build relationships. Relationships are the glue. Someone has said relationships are the stuff of life. Relationships. I know that we think that we can lead because the organization chart, the org chart says we're in charge. In the world that I live in, we have a little black book called the manual. And I tell people, if you have to depend on the manual and tell people that the manual says you're in charge and you're the leader, guess what? You really aren't. It's about relational and relationships. One of the things that relationships will remind you of, it is the stuff of life. Relationships remind me of collaboration. No one of us is as smart as all of us. And therefore, by being in relationships, I learn things from others. I can remember walking the hallways in church talking to preschoolers and kindergarten children. And if you get down and look them in the eye and ask them a question, I have learned some of life's greatest lessons by even listening to the children. It's about collaboration. Don't go into every meeting thinking you are the be-all, know-all, and that you are the fount of all information. Absolutely, because of your life experience, your training, all that's happened in life that's led you to this point, you do, leader, know a lot of things. But start by listening to what others have to say. Don't just fall in love with the melody of your own voice. Listen to others and collaborate with them. Relationships are the connectional glue of life. And it's something that as a society we seem to struggle with today, and that is relating to one another. It is in the area of connections. If you want to be a leader that connects, and we've all seen leaders who were great leaders, mediocre, and even poor, but one of the things that has separated great leaders from the average is their ability to connect with people. Never underestimate the ability to connect. And to connect to people, you have to listen to them. Not just listen, but actually hear what they say. Become empathetic. Be able to put yourself into another person's position. These are all connecting ways of reaching out to people. At the end of life, it is the relationships that we have that add color and texture to our world and cause us some of the greatest joy. Now, I also know the flip side of that is that it is in relationships we experience pain. But that's just the way it is in relationships. They can be your source of greatest strength, and they can also at times be some of the sources of your greatest sorrow. But as a leader, do not isolate yourself in the corner office. Do not isolate yourself. It's almost as if we are afraid we're going to catch something from the people we serve. Get out and build connections, because I tell you what, when the difficult time comes and the storms come and the winds blow, and it happens in every family, every workplace, every church, everywhere in this world, storms are a fact of life. Difficulties, valleys, however you want to look at it. What will help hold you in those times is the fact that you have built relational trust. The people have confidence in you. The people believe in you. The people know you. Therefore, they're willing to follow you not only when the sun is shining and there's money in the bank and everything is going well, they're willing to follow you even when they're not quite sure how this is all going to work out, because they have confidence in you as a leader. The three things that will make a difference: number one is be a servant. Set your heart on service. Second is relationships. Build relationships with the people in your life. And the third and final one is work on you. Oftentimes as a leader, we're wanting to change other people, change the organization, make the necessary and needed improvements that must happen. And we forget that the greatest work that any of us need to do is the work upon ourselves. Grow. Some of us, I'm not so worried about your past failures being your undoing. I'm worried that your past successes are going to be your undoing. What happens is, if early on in your leadership you have tremendous success, there is this temptation to coast. There is this temptation that says, I'm just really an expert on this subject, therefore I don't need to grow and stretch. I'm going to coast. Please, please fight the desire within all of us to take our foot off the gas and to just sort of coast through the rest of life. You need to be at your best, and you don't know everything yet. You will never know everything. I always think whenever I hear a leader talking about what's wrong in their organization and the people, and these people are rotten and they're no good and they're lazy and they're unmotivated, I'm wondering how much of that is a reflection that the leader has not really worked on improving themselves. Have you gotten better? You see, it seems to me it's a pretty simple choice. We're either going to get bitter or we're going to get better. And one of those is, before I can work on anyone else, I need to work on myself. Am I living a disciplined life? Am I adding to the bottom line of life in my organization and my family and my friends? Am I an energy vampire that sucks all the energy out of the room when I walk in? Or do I add to it because I'm a constant learner? I have developed a sense of listening to others. I've made up my mind that it's not all about me. It's about service and building relationships and working on me. I think these are the three things, leaders, that will make a tremendous difference in your life. Again, develop the heart of a servant. Seek ways to serve others, always, primarily, and first. Be a person who builds relationships. If you're at a party or anywhere in a group and you don't know someone, don't wait for them to come up and introduce themselves. You go and introduce yourself to them. You take the relational first step. Always nurture and build relationships. And if you're going to be a really effective leader in the 21st century, you need to work on your own self-development. Take a class, take a webinar, read a book, build some disciplines into your own life. The organization will not get better without you getting better. Your family will not get better without you getting better. Your marriage will not improve unless you make needed changes. Not just your spouse. You need to change. You have been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. 3 things that will make a difference: being a servant, building relationships, and working on myself. If you are receiving this podcast, which you had to listen to it, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review? This has been Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And again, please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. And my friends, I'm looking to coach and train the next level leaders. If you'd like to improve in productivity, goal setting, or any area in leadership, or if you're stuck, if you'd like to book a free call for 30 minutes, go to drronblake.com/call and get on my calendar. There's a little bit, very small amount of information you fill out. You get on my calendar, and I will call you, and let's discuss how you and I can work together and lead you and launch you to your dream. Again, this is Dr. Ron saying, leader, you're doing better than you think you are. And until next time, have a great and blessed day.